The narrative opens with a frightening female ghost with a slender physique and a dreadful visage. She just has to yell nonchalantly to shatter someone's arm. Even more terrifying is the fact that Peter, the main character, becomes extremely close to her and subsequently discovers she is possessed by a demonic entity. The effect makes it difficult for Peter, a priest, to restrain his urges, and he violates his professional code. There's an exorcism ritual late one evening. Someone asks Peter for assistance. He has an odd feeling when he arrives. Mary, the little girl who is possessed by the devil, is bound to the bed, yet she is still capable of evil deeds. She can harm someone just by gazing at them, and the devil inside of her gives her a terrifying appearance. Peter contacts Father Holt because the doctor is concerned that Mary's body won't be able to withstand it for long. Holt has already been granted permission to do the exorcism, but he is not allowed to return for another 2 days. Peter chooses to carry out the exorcism straight immediately since he believes Mary may not survive. Peter is reminded by Holt that if he attempts to do the exorcism by himself, he may suffer harm or maybe lose his life since he hasn't passed the basic exorcism evaluation. He must ensure that he has committed no hidden transgressions. Otherwise, the devil may use his errors against him, rendering the exorcism ineffective. Though Peter is aware of the dangers associated with exorcisms, he cannot let the girl who is possessed by the demon live for another 2 days. Ultimately, he defies rules and initiates the exorcism ceremony right away. Peter requests that the girl's family members wait outside as he wants to record every event on paper. Then he prays against the devil while holding a crucifix in his hand. The devil seems unafraid. In fact, it makes an attempt to seduce Peter by utilizing the girl's body. As the girl begins to undo her shirt buttons, Peter averts his gaze. He douses the monster with holy water. It seems that the monster enjoys it. When Peter chastises the demon, it just responds with a flirtatious, "If you come in, I'll leave." Until the very end, the devil is entirely engrossed in Peter's prayers. On the bed, she is weary. Though Peter believes the practice went well, the girl takes his hand as soon as he gets close. In the midst of their intimate moment, she gives Peter a kiss without asking permission. Suddenly, Peter feels an odd sensation throughout his body. His eyes glitter, his face becomes pale, and in an instant, 18 years have gone. This is where Peter has been residing for a while. He spends a lot of time with the orphanage kids. A number of the town's youngsters have been mysteriously unwell lately. The hospital does not have enough medication, so their only chance for assistance is faith. Peter believes that this illness may have been brought on by his most recent exorcism. He intends to inform the Mexican region's bishop of the wrongdoings he committed during that period. The bishop isn't interested in it, so he pulls out the old video that captured the exorcism. His attention is mostly on what Peter has done to benefit the community. With this money, Peter's request for assistance has been granted. The fact that Peter is respected by the community gives the hospitalized children hope, even if the bishop did not look into Peter's errors in detail. Right now, Peter is still feeling bad about the exorcism. Abruptly, there's a cry from outside. When he returns to investigate, he discovers that Jesus has vanished from the cross. He follows the tracks left by blood on the floor. Peter notices a guy sobbing while hiding in a corner. He attempts to inquire, but the guy doesn't answer. He displays a scary visage behind the man's lengthy hair as he reaches out to touch his shoulder. After then, Peter awakens from his nightmare. Peter was invited to help out at the adjacent jail on that particular day. It transpires that a prisoner chewed off 2 of the guard's fingers. It seemed as if a devil was possessing the prisoner. The devil asked to see Peter personally. The doctor tells Peter that a female is the one who wants to meet him when he gets here. The girl's symptoms resemble those of schizophrenia or epilepsy. When the corpse was found, she was first charged with murder. The mutilated head of the victim was suspended from a tree. Following Peter's encounter with the possessed girl, the girl spoke in 2 different voices, that of a demon repeating what the Mexican bishop had stated earlier, and that of a girl repeating what Peter had told the doctor. When Peter heard this, he was taken aback, since he couldn't fathom how the girl had learned of these things. The demon teased Peter after telling him they had been friends for a long time. Feeling irritated, Peter cut the discussion short. Peter thought that this demon was probably connected to the previous exorcism because it was using the same tone. He didn't want to get involved in this anymore, but just as he was about to say no, the mother of the possessed girl approached him and begged him to stop. It turned out that the girl was Mary, and the girl in the prison was their child. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, Peter found himself unable to move. He struggled to turn his head to the side, but nothing was there. The bedsheet on the other side bulged upward, giving the impression that someone was hiding inside. Since Peter couldn't move, all he could do was close his eyes and pray. After a brief period of time, Peter's body was freed, and the earlier figure vanished as well. At this point, H grabbed his neck. The figure who seemed to be Jesus reappeared, but everything in Peter's immediate surroundings quickly went back to normal. Children continued to pass away at the hospital every day despite Peter's funding, and the medical staff was unable to determine why. With no other option, Peter requested for an exorcism to the Mexican region's bishop early the next day in accordance with the correct protocol. They had to send the application to headquarters for approval. The bishop, however, thought that the girl would not be able to hang on, so he urged Peter to go on with confidence, promising that he would handle everything from headquarters given the past errors and exorcisms. This time, Peter made the decision to get assistance. He was looking for Holt, who had earlier objected to his carrying out exorcisms by himself that evening. The sole proof of his guilt, the exorcism tape, was destroyed by Peter. Peter informed Holt about the experiences with Jesus when he felt his anxiety. Holt thought after hearing what Peter had to say that the demons could indeed be after Peter. On the opposite side, a nun is saying her prayers before going to bed, when, in the space of a few seconds, she discovers blood streaming across her face. Mary vanishes, leaving behind a trail of blood on the ground. She spots a white cloth nearby, which she opens to find a dead baby wrapped inside. The nun is startled and backtracks, but before she knows it, a mysterious figure appears from behind and nearby statues begin to leak blood. The nun turns around, sensing something strange, but before she can leave, something pulls her into the darkness. The children in the room wake up to noises and the door is soon broken down. The nun who was previously dragged away is now under the control of a demon. At a crucial juncture, Peter and Holt notice the children's cries as the possessed nun moves closer to them step by step. Mary shows up out of nowhere, and she manages to pull the nun back. Holt and Peter also drove the demon away once they arrived. Peter discovers that the demon has been expelled, but the kids' faces are covered in rashes. The youngsters in this place will quickly and mysteriously pass away if the reason is not discovered immediately. Holt goes to the jail for the night to look into the possibility that the demon is connected to the children's condition. The girl seems to be weeping for a bit before making monster noises. Peter wants to slay the demon right now, but Holt seems calm. With a smirk, he says to the demon, "Show us that you are the devil. He has said that he plans to depart, therefore we don't need to spend further time with you if you can't verify it." The jail cell door abruptly shuts at that same time, and the demon spits forth a viscous liquid that includes the severed finger of a prison guard in Holt's direction. Holt keeps making fun of people, saying that even if you are a devil, you have to be the least powerful one. The monster becomes furious at once, and Holt is wildly close to the earth. "Have you forgotten about our arrangement?" the devil asks. Holt collapses to the floor in agony. When Peter realizes that things are getting out of hand, he prays right away. However, the devil doesn't intervene until Holt, who is in agony, joins in the prayer. Then, and only then, does the devil express distress. They first believed they had everything under control, but in the next instant, it manages to escape its bonds and sever Holt's ear in the process. In the end, they overcome it with the doctor's sedatives. Peter doesn't appear to have any impact. The physician advises that if all of the inmates are put to sleep, the medicine may be used to accomplish the desired outcome. Next, Holt tells Peter that Babel is a cunning demon that he should not trust, that it is adept at playing on people's anxieties, and most importantly, that he should not negotiate with it. On the other hand, the doctor gives the inmates sedative injections with the assistance of the prison guard. However, they failed to notice that one of the inmates used the chance to take the cell keys. Peter then understands that this is not your typical holy water that Holt has prepared. The devil is unaffected by the customary rites. In the evening, Mary and Peter discuss their daughter in Babel. Mary receives an apology from Peter for the previous incident. For many years, Mary has felt that their daughter is the greatest gift from God. Peter had always harbored remorse. In truth, he had long since fallen in love with Mary. They give each other tearful embraces. The warden makes the necessary preparations, and they are ready to go. The prison's lights abruptly go out, and the doctor decides to remain to assist. He looks, and all the cell doors are open. It dawns on Peter and Holt that the possessed girl has vanished from sight. Strange sounds are coming from above his head at that time, but when he glances up, the ceiling is empty. The cell door abruptly closed as they were getting comfortable. While Peter and Holt are imprisoned within the cell, the doctor discovers that every prisoner has vanished from the jail and that the last prison guard was brutally murdered. A lady can be heard sobbing in the background. As he goes to check her, the doctor notices that the lady is obviously not normal. He gets ready to give her another shot, but someone else looks at her. The doctor is attacked and falls to the ground. The demon then appears to want to deal with each of them separately, as evidenced by the fierce charges he receives from behind him. Shortly after, the doctor uses his last remaining strength to crawl out of the darkness and warn Peter to leave immediately. Behind them, 3 demon-possessed people, among them the lady with the doctor, appear. The 3 demons are subdued by Holt, but Peter has little impact and is even made fun of by one of them. Then a monster that resembles a statue emerges, and it moves a finger and causes the cross in Holt's palm to heat up rapidly. Holt is ready to face the devil with an even bigger cross, but that's when the doctor attacking lady suddenly rushes at them. Once again, the doctor shows there, and with his last remaining vigor, he manages to give Peter and himself some time to get away before succumbing to the demon's blade. While Peter and the others make a valiant attempt to flee, Holt is stabbed by the demon after it seizes possession of him. Prisoners get restless and can only take refuge in the kitchen for a short while. As Holt realizes that his prayers are ineffective against the demon, he becomes enraged and confronts Peter about what he has been concealing. This implies that Peter has to be sinful in some way, not yet admitted. When Peter admits the truth about the exorcism ritual they had carried out earlier, Holt becomes very enraged. He feels that Peter should have confessed sooner, and now they are unable to continue being demon opponents. As it seems, Holt was concealing something else as well. In order to save lives, Holt was compelled to come to a deal with the devil, with the condition that the devil would inherit his soul after death. Knowing he is about to die, Holt tells Peter explicitly to remember this. He reminds Peter that God and the devil cannot both occupy the same body at the same time, and he warns him that Babel will take advantage of his vulnerabilities to entice him. Holt ends his speech by getting ready for his approaching demise. The devil has already pushed open the kitchen door, and Peter is the only one who can get out. Since the film of the exorcism from 18 years ago has been destroyed, Peter is fully aware that the first thing he has to do is confess his crimes and complete his repentance. He makes the decision to use his phone to take a video. In the video, Peter really admits to breaking the individual who was possessed during the exorcism 18 years ago. At that moment, he was in fact controlled by the demon, yet his own evil ideas were the main culprit. Peter confirms the efficacy of his repentance by sending the bishop the confession video. He willingly opens the door and faces the monster. As he watches the possessed individual racing in his direction, Peter quickly removes the cross, sending the attacker reeling in pain. It dawns on him at last that God's protection is once again present. At first, Peter thought he would drive the demon away entirely, but then he saw a stranger behind him. She knocks Peter out. Reawakened, he discovers that he is strapped to a chair. He had first set up the chair, and Holt the devil had scattered a lot of candles throughout the floor. The inverted crucifix is pressed up on Peter's forehead by his daughter. Her intention was to expel the god from Peter's body so that the devil could carry out their scheme. Their goal is to make the whole planet a hellhole. Peter instantly felt a searing agony from the devil's blood spray, similar to the holy water that priests sprinkling people with during exorcisms. The children were becoming worse rapidly. The nun abruptly woke up, and she attempted to walk outside for assistance, but the door would not open before the demon-like statue reappeared. The devils incarcerated were also driving God away at the same time. Peter prayed to God and engaged the devil in front of him because he realized he had to take action to fight back. The monsters between them crumpled in agony as soon as the windows cracked. Standing alone was Babel, who was tethered to Peter's daughter. It found out that Babel had the backing of hell and that Peter was under God's protection. Conversely, the nun continued to struggle against the statue demon choking her from a distance. She retaliated by tearing off the crucifix. The monster suddenly became weaker. It also impacted Babel in front of Peter. Similar to how the devil and Babel were related, the sculptures caused Babel to collapse. The devil then threatened Peter, saying that either the children, including his daughter, would be harmed, or Peter would have to allow God to leave his body right now. Peter was in the mood to send all the demons back to hell. Peter was well aware of the meaning of this. With their pact sealed, he chose to accept the demons' demands. The monster departed his daughter's body right away. The hospitalized youngsters, who were in critical condition, made a full recovery. Not only did Don Peter earn appreciation from Mary for his successful daughter rescue, but he also caught the attention of foreign media. Believers turned Peter into a saint, and the bishop of the Mexican area came to congratulate him. Peter was about to question him about whether or not he had seen the video he received, but the bishop erased the tape and failed to notify his superiors about the situation. Peter was awarded a unique position by the Vatican once they learned about his altruistic actions. In the church, Peter was seen as a significant individual. When his daughter approached him for a blessing, Peter felt uneasy. Peter had changed in appearance as he watched his daughter go after the blessing. When the bishop saw this, he believed that the devil Babel had at last gotten his wish. The devil ruled over a group that included the bishop of the Mexican area. Peter also saw a change in his daughter's behavior. It seemed as if God had selected his daughter after the demon had departed Peter's body. A voice warned of dangers in a world without God when Peter first began working at the Vatican. In order to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and enable alerts. I appreciate you seeing. In the following video, I'll see you.